All right, so move on to the next segment. Which boxer should win Boxer of the Year at the ESPN ESPYs Awards this year? So the ESPN EPYs Awards is definitely coming up very, very soon. And there's 4 options for these respective fighters to win Boxer of the Year this year at the ESPYs Awards. So they have the undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney as an option. They have Gervonta Tank Davis as an option. They have the undisputed middleweight champion in the women's division, Carissa Shields, as an option. And last but not least, they have Shakur Stevenson as an option. Those are the 4 options to respectfully win ESPN ESPY Fight Boxer of the Year and the respective sport of boxing. So with that being said, who I believe should win this award, everybody has their own right. I do believe that. I wouldn't be surprised if whichever 4 of these athletes win the award. But my pick, and I think it's the right pick, Gervonta Davis should win Boxer of the Year at the ESPN EPYs Awards, and I'm going to explain why. Activity matters. Gervonta Davis has had a total of 3 fights since May of 2022, and that is very pivotal, very important in the sport of boxing today. Being reliable for fans to see you watch. Being active as a professional boxer, not just sitting on the shelf and fighting once a year. He's been active and has already fought twice in the calendar year of 2023. I think we'll see him one more time, but he's been very active since May of 2022, and he defeated 3 undefeated fighters at the time during that span as well. He defeated Rolly Romero, who was undefeated. He defeated Hector Luis Garcia, who was undefeated at the time. And he also defeated Ryan Garcia, who was undefeated at the time as well. And you look back at it, Gervonta Davis had one of the best knockouts of 2022 against Rolly Romero in that fight last May 2022. I got the t-shirt of it, as you guys know if you follow the podcast, with Gervonta Davis checking Rolly Romero with a great counter left hook that sent Rolly Romero into the ropes, acting like he got hit with a 619 by Rey Mysterio. One of the best knockouts of 2022 in the sport of boxing, respectfully. And then we went on months later in January, at the beginning of January this year, he made Hector Luis Garcia quit on the stool and won that fight via knockout or TKO win by the 8th round, making Hector Luis Garcia quit on the stool. And then and months later, in April this year, he made Ryan Garcia look ordinary. Like I said on the podcast, I said Gervonta Davis outboxed Ryan Garcia 6-2 that night in favor of Gervonta Davis. I don't believe, 5-2. I don't believe that Gervonta Davis really lost any rounds besides the first round and the 6th round of that fight. He made Ryan Garcia look ordinary and picked up the win by TKO with a clean body shot. So Gervonta Davis has been a highlight reel. Activity matters, and he's been doing that as well. And then breaking gate revenues and earning big-time pay-per-view numbers is also what Gervonta Davis has done over the last few months in the sport of boxing. So, dating back to May 2022 when he fought Rolly Romero, he filled up 18,970 seats at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and made $500 million in gate revenues in terms of bringing in fans, filling their butts in the seats, and watching a sold-out arena or having a sold-out arena when he fought Rolly Romero. So that's remarkable as well. Then in D.C., which was his homecoming in the DMV, he broke the all-time live gate record at the Capital One Arena, the Wizards Stadium, selling 19,731 tickets. He filled all those tickets up. Had a sold-out event for his homecoming in D.C. And that is still the all-time gate record that Gervonta Davis holds months later after that fight against Hector Luis Garcia. Then in Vegas, him and Ryan Garcia sold $1.3 million pay-per-view buys. That is the highest pay-per-view buys that have been bought in this decade since the 2020s have started, and all of combat sports, boxing or UFC. And that's something that's legitimately hard to do, because now we're in the era of where streamers are happening, fireboxes are being used, illegal streams, instead of paying for pay-per-views. So if you could do 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, that means you're a box office attraction. That means you're must-see whenever you fight or whoever you fight. Ryan Garcia deserves credit for that as well, but That's still huge for Gervonta Davis. And Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, that event went down as the 5th highest generated gate sales in Las Vegas history for fights that have been held at the T-Mobile Arena. So that is huge for what Gervonta Davis has been doing for the sport of boxing. And last but not least, he's really saved boxing. Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia deserve credit for this as well. Ryan deserves just as much credit as Gervonta Davis does for this. But both without them, boxing would not be what it is this year. They respectively saved boxing this year. They're responsible for it because the reason why they've saved boxing is because boxing for years, we have not gotten the best of the best fighting each other. A lot of fighters, respectively, have been scared to lose that zero and what it could do for them mentally, what it could do for their legacy, what it could do in terms of being a cash cow. Fighters have been scared to lose that zero. But what Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia have done this year, they have saved boxing. They have opened the gates for 50-50 fights to return back to the sport again like the good old days. Crawford and Spencer getting in there. We're seeing some good matchups being developed thanks to Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. So they have saved boxing and brought back 50-50 fights in the sport today. So with that being said, yes, there's a debatable argument about undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney winning this award. Yes, there's an argument for undisputed middleweight champion in the women's division, Clarissa Shields, winning this award. Yes. Yes, there's a debatable idea for Shakur Stevenson winning this award as well. And as great as the things that those three respective fighters have accomplished, that is the reason why they find themselves on the pound-for-pound list. But Gervonta Davis has been the MVP of boxing over the last 15, 16 months, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. He is the MVP of the sport. He makes the world tune in to whoever he fights, and he is the most, in my opinion, he is the most popular American boxer in the sport today. And debatably right now, it's a debate between who is the face of boxing because Gervonta Davis brings in so much clout. He brings in so much attention. He brings in a lot of people that don't even pay attention to the sport because they want to see someone that could put on a show. And that's what Gervonta Davis has done. He's been a bright light in the sport. And I do believe it's only right for him to win Boxer of the Year at the ESPN ESPYs. And he is my pick to win the award this year and the 2023 ESPN ESPYs.